North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un has reportedly started his journey to Russian city of Vladivostok to meet President Vladimir Putin. This is according to South Korean media reports. The highly anticipated meeting is likely to take place on Tuesday. This will be Kim's first international trip in over 4 years and the first since the pandemic began. Kim and Putin are likely to discuss weapon supply to be used in Ukraine. Britain's King Charles has sent a message to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The message congratulates Kim on the founding anniversary of North Korea. According to KCNA news agency, the message read, and I quote, "I send my good wishes for the future." Israel's top spy has said that officials believe that Russia could sell advanced weapons to Iran. The Mossad intelligence agency's David Barnea said, and I quote, "We are concerned that the Russians will meet Iran's demands to supply it with weapons and raw materials that will put Israel at risk." Iran has reportedly been seeking sophisticated air defense systems from Russia. The two countries strengthened their ties after Russia invaded Ukraine last year. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has said that it would depend on the country's judiciary to decide whether Russian President Vladimir Putin would be arrested if he attends next year's G20 summit. Lula da Silva made this statement in New Delhi on Monday. In March this year, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant against Putin. He has been accused of committing war crimes in Ukraine. Russia has concluded regional and municipal elections. Polls were also held in the 4 eastern regions annexed from Ukraine. The vote showed strong support for Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Council of Europe has called the polls a violation of international law. Ukrainian officials have called them an illegal attempt to tighten Moscow's grip over the south and east of the war-torn nation. Clashes broke out outside the residence of Israeli Justice Minister in the city of Modin. This comes on the eve of a historic Supreme Court hearing on the judicial overhaul law. The entire 15-judge Supreme Court bench is set to convene for the first time in Israel's history. Protests against the judicial overhaul law introduced by Benjamin Netanyahu have been going on for more than 30 weeks now. French President Emmanuel Macron visited Bangladesh's capital Dhaka. This comes after Macron attended the G20 summit in India's New Delhi. Macron was welcomed by Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina at the airport. This is the first visit by a French president to Bangladesh in over 30 years. The aim of the trip is to enhance relations between the two countries. Macron and Sheikh Hasina will hold talks before he heads back to Paris. French President Emmanuel Macron has said that if France ever had to redeploy troops in Niger, it would do so in coordination with President Mohamed Bazoum. Macron made the statement while he was addressing a press conference after the G20 summit in India's New Delhi. He said that Bazoum is the only leader of Niger that France recognizes. US President Joe Biden visited Vietnam's Hanoi after attending G20 meetings in India's New Delhi. The US and Vietnam secured deals on semiconductors and minerals. During a press conference, Joe Biden said that the US does not want to isolate China, but intends to have a stable base in the Indo-Pacific. He added that China is changing some of the rules of the game, but he did not specify which rules. This statement comes after Biden met Chinese Premier Li Jiang at the G20 summit. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has been accorded a ceremonial reception at the Presidential Palace or Rashtrapati Bhavan in India's capital of New Delhi. He began a state visit after participating in the G20 summit. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Draupadi Murmu welcomed the Saudi Crown Prince. MBS then inspected a combined Defence Services Guard of Honor. The Saudi Crown Prince also congratulated India for a successful G20 presidency. More than 2,000 people have died in a devastating earthquake in Morocco. The 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck the North African country late on Friday. Reports say over 2,000 have been injured. This is being considered Morocco's deadliest earthquake in more than 6 decades. Moving to climate, Storm Daniil has hit the Libyan city of Al-Baida. It has killed at least 25 people and damaged homes and roads. Search and rescue operations are ongoing. Authorities have declared a state of extreme emergency. Schools and stores have been closed and a curfew has been imposed. Meanwhile, in Greece, a sweeping rainstorm brought by Storm Daniil has killed at least 10 people. Homes and businesses across the Palamas municipality have suffered extensive damage. Meteorologists say this is the worst storm to hit the country since records began in 1930. It came right after a record summer heat wave set off huge wildfires in several parts of Greece. China's Guangdong province has stepped up efforts to evacuate residents. They're also trying to mitigate waterlogging amid a risk of flooding. This was after heavy rain brought by Typhoon Haikui battered large parts of the Chinese province. Heavy rain has hit southwestern Spain. Footage shows trees bending under the strength of the wind. This comes just a week after devastating floods struck parts of the country. At least 5 people died in the previous downpour. Hurricane Lee is expected to move north of Puerto Rico and the US Virgin Islands this weekend. It could cause dangerous beach conditions and is expected to bring dangerous surf and rip currents. However, forecasters have said it is too soon to know what level of impact Hurricane Lee may have. Britain recorded its hottest day of the year on Saturday. Data showed that temperatures reached a high of 33.2 degrees Celsius at London's Kew Gardens. It was also the 6th day in a row that the country recorded a temperature above 30 degrees Celsius. This is as per Britain's National Weather Service. Japanese authorities say swarms of visitors on Mount Fuji are pushing facilities to the brink. A recent surge in inbound tourists has led to extreme levels of pollution. They are leaving mounds of trash on the mountainside and also leaving the toilets out of order. Japan's Mount Fuji was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site a decade ago. This largely boosted its popularity. More than 10,000 climate activists marched into The Hague in Netherlands. This was organized by the climate group Extinction Rebellion. They were demanding a halt to the Dutch government's use of public funds to subsidize the oil and gas industry. The protesters ignored warnings from authorities against blocking traffic. Consequently, the Dutch police said they detained 2,400 protesters. Financial firm Barclays is looking for a climate communications director. They are looking for someone to coordinate the bank's public response to climate pressures. This comes after the bank was targeted by campaigners over its environmental record. In May, the Barclays annual general meeting was disrupted by climate activists. They condemned its role as one of Europe's largest funders of fossil fuels. Continuing with Barclays, it is reportedly planning to cut hundreds of jobs. This could affect as many as 400 positions. This could affect jobs in its domestic retail team. The bank is also planning a separate round of job cuts in its investment banking business. Financial firm HSBC will halt all commercial payments for its business customers in Russia and Belarus. HSBC said that the sanctions and trade restrictions placed on the countries have made its operations increasingly challenging. Reports say the restrictions would apply there from the 27th of October. The Reserve Bank of India is reportedly working with banks. This is to introduce new features to popularize its central bank digital currency or CBDCs. The features include allowing offline transactions of the digital rupee. The central bank is also mulling linking the e-rupee to India's Unified Payments Interface or UPI. India's top court has directed SpiceJet to pay $1.5 million to Credit Suisse. This is over a case related to unpaid dues. The court has given SpiceJet a deadline of the 15th of September to make the payments. It has warned the airline of quote-unquote drastic action if it fails to pay off its dues. In a surprise move, China's Alibaba Group has announced that Daniil Zhang will step down from its cloud business. The news sent the company shares falling by more than 4% on Monday. This comes just 2 months after Zhang stepped down as Alibaba Group's CEO and chairman. In June, he stepped down from the roles to focus on the company's cloud division. Grocery delivery firm Instacart is reportedly targeting a valuation between $8.6 to $9.3 billion. This is for its initial public offering or IPO. Reports say the valuation range will be disclosed on Monday. If confirmed, the range will mark a steep drop from its previous valuation. In 2021, the company had targeted a valuation of $39 billion. Walmart is reportedly exploring buying a majority stake in ChenMed. ChenMed is an American-based operator of primary care clinics for senior citizens. The deal could value ChenMed at several $billion. However, reports add that the terms are not yet final and talks could still fall apart. The US state of California is set to pass a new law for venture capital firms operating in the state. The bill will require the firms to report the diversity breakdown of the founders they fund. This includes reporting on the gender and ethnic and racial background of the founders. It also includes details on the amount given to them. The legislation will be the first in America that aims to increase diversity in the venture capital sector. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's X Corp has sued the state of California. This is over the state's law establishing new transparency rules for social media companies. It requires companies to publish their policies for policing disinformation, harassment, hate speech and extremism. X said the law violates its free speech rights under the US Constitution. The US Congress will host 3 hearings on artificial intelligence this week. On Tuesday, a committee will hold a hearing that will host experts. They will help shape legislation to protect against AI harms. On Wednesday, Senator Chuck Schumer will host tech leaders. This includes the CEO of Meta Platforms, Mark Zuckerberg, and Tesla CEO, Elon Musk. On Thursday, a group of lawmakers will hold a hearing that will look at the potential risks in the adoption of AI in federal agencies. Moving to sports, England beat New Zealand by 79 runs in the second one-day international match on Sunday. The match was delayed and shortened to 34 overs due to rain. England were up to bat first and were at 28 for 4 in the 8th over. New Zealand's pacer Trent Boult bowled out England's Johnny Bairstow for 6 and then knocked out Joe Root and Ben Stokes for ducks. But Liam Livingstone hit 95 runs from 78 balls to help England recover and claim the win. New Zealand have finalised their 15-member squad for the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. Kane Williamson will be leading the Black Caps for the campaign. Williamson secured a spot in the squad despite his long-term knee injury. He's still recovering. Meanwhile, opener Finn Allen and fast bowler Adam Milne were not included in the list. Spain's football chief Luis Rubiales resigned from his post on Sunday. This comes after 3 weeks of controversy that started after he kissed a Spanish footballer named Jenny Hermoso. The incident took place at the FIFA Women's World Cup after Spain won. Spain's Football Federation confirmed Rubiales had sent a resignation letter to the acting president. His unsolicited kiss has triggered outrage among Spanish government officials and football players. It is unsure whether Lionel Messi will feature for Argentina's World Cup qualifier match against Bolivia. He will travel to Bolivia with the team, but his participation remains doubtful. Argentina's coach Lionel Scaloni said, and I quote, "Leo was tired the other day and asked to be substituted." Argentina started their World Cup qualifiers by securing a 1-0 win over Ecuador. In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic clinched his record 24th Grand Slam title on Sunday. He won the 2023 US Open after powering past Daniil Medvedev 6-3, 7-6 and 6-3 in the final. Djokovic has now equaled Margaret Court's benchmark of 24 Grand Slam victories. The 36-year-old Serb is now also the oldest man to win the US Open in the Open era. Coco Gauff claimed her first Grand Slam title at the 2023 US Open on Sunday. The 19-year-old American defeated Belarus's Aryna Sabalenka in a 3-set showdown. Coco Gauff lost her first set 2-6 to Sabalenka, but fought back for a 6-3, 6-2 win in the next 2 sets. In an interview after the match, Gauff said, and I quote, "I know that this feeling is incredible and I want to experience it again." Meanwhile, Carlos Alcaraz has withdrawn from Spain's Davis Cup team. Alcaraz, who was the defending champion of the US Open, suffered an elimination at the semis. He was defeated by third seed Daniil Medvedev. Alcaraz took to social media to announce that he will not be playing for Spain. He said he will instead rest and allow his body to recover after a long, tiring tour. Albert Ramos Vinolas will be replacing him in Spain's squad. In badminton, Indian shuttler Kiran George won the 2023 Indonesia Masters on Sunday. George defeated Japan's Ku Takahashi 21-19 and 22-20. The match went on for less than an hour. This was George's second BWF World Tour Super 100 badminton title. India's Prathamesh Javkar grabbed a spot at the podium in the 2023 Archery World Cup. He bagged a silver medal in the men's compound event. Javkar was up against Denmark's Mathias Fullerton. The 5-set match between the two ended in a 148-all tie. Both had hit 10 in the shoot-off, but Fullerton was declared as the winner because his arrow was closer to the center. In athletics, Agnes Getich of Kenya broke the world 10-kilometer record in the women's category. She clocked 29 and 24 second at the World Athletics Elite Label Road Race in Romania. The 22-year-old ran the first 5 kilometers in 14 minutes and 25 seconds. Getich's compatriot Catherine Relin grabbed the second spot, while Uganda's Joy Cheptoek came third. Canadian actor Elliot Page has said that his new film, Close to You, moves people and cracks open the hearts and minds of the viewers. The film premiered at the Toronto Film Festival on Sunday. It explores the story of Page's character called Sam, who returns home after a gender transition for a family reunion. Page is the co-writer of the movie, and he received an Oscar nomination for his role in the 2007 movie Juno. Page came out as transgender in the year 2020. Movie Poor Things, directed by Greece's Yorgos Lanthimos, won the Golden Lion Award at the Venice Film Festival on Saturday. The movie stars actors Emma Stone, William Dafoe and Mark Ruffalo. The runner-up Silver Lion Award went to Evil Does Not Exist, directed by a Japanese filmmaker. It was the only Asian movie that competed for the main prize. Actor and talk show host Drew Barrymore has announced that her show will begin its 4th season soon. This will be done in accordance with the rules of the SAG-AFTRA and Writers Guild of America strikes. A WGA spokesperson said, and I quote, "The show stayed off air since the strike began on May 2, but has now decided to return without its writers. The Guild has and will continue to picket any struck show that continues production during the duration of the strike. American screenwriter Greg Berlanti has started a $500,000 relief fund. The announcement has been made amidst the ongoing Hollywood actors and writers strike. The fund aims to help those who had worked as support staff of Berlanti. Berlanti production shows in the last few years, that's the staff. Berlanti is among the top showrunners who collectively contributed close to $2 million to the Entertainment Community Fund. Actors Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis have broken their silence on the Danny Masterson controversy. The couple faced backlash for writing letters to a judge in support of Masterson during his rape trial. In a video message, Kutcher and Kunis said, and I quote, "We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future." The video message came just 2 days after their former That 70s Show co-star Masterson was sentenced to 30 years in prison for raping 2 women. Singer Jonas shared his feelings about his divorce with actor Sophie Turner on stage. He said, and I quote, "It has been a crazy week. If you don't hear it from these lips, do not believe it, okay?" He made the statement while performing at a Jonas Brothers concert in the American city of Los Angeles. Jonas filed for divorce from Turner last week, saying their marriage was irretrievably broken. "42-year-old American actor Chris Evans and 26-year-old Portuguese actor Alba Baptista got married in an intimate ceremony in the US state of Massachusetts. Several of Evans' Marvel movie co-stars were invited to the wedding, including Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, and Jeremy Renner. Evans and Baptista have reportedly been together for about 2 years now. In January this year, Evans made their relationship official on Instagram. Elon Musk and his former partner Grimes shared 3 children together and not 2. It has been revealed that the on-again, off-again couple had welcomed a child named Techno Mechanicus at some point. The two also have a son and a daughter together. Grimes has revealed that she and Musk are living in separate houses and are best friends. American TV personality Stacey Schroeder has welcomed her second child with her husband, Beau Clark. The former reality TV star had announced her pregnancy in March this year on Instagram with the caption, "Secrets stress me out." She was a part of the show Vanderpump Rules. The cause of the death of actor Paul Rubens has been revealed. The actor passed away in July at the age of 70 due to acute hypoxia respiratory failure. He was best known for playing the role of his comedic alter ego, Pee Wee Herman.